a land of myths, legends, culture, landscape, and adventure. And we're so excited to be hosting the first major WWE UK stadium show in 30 years, and I can't think of anywhere better than Cardiff, any stadium better than the Principality. And it's not just the cities, it's the amazing coastline, the rolling hills of the valleys, and the highest peak of Snowdon. A stadium in the center of the city, connecting castles to the coast. September 3rd, Cardiff, the Principality Stadium Clash at the Castle.
Welcome to the Lock Betting Podcast, where we are going to go over Clash at the Castle and all your betting odds and making some money off of things that are already predetermined. I'm Cav Manning. I am from the Lingus Mafia podcast. I am joined by your number one man in the industry of pro wrestling, gives you all the dirt, and he's number one when it comes to giving you all your betting locked picks. That is Mr. Billy Body.
Hi.
So
I'm here. I can see the castle out my window, and I can see the stadium right next to it. There's a stadium, and then there's a Hilton, which I'm in.
There's actually a castle.
Yeah,
there is. Okay, so this is not just something they say.
I think the story behind this was they were scouting locations, and somebody came up with this dumb fuck name and decided that it was a really good idea. This seems like a Vince idea. I don't think there'll be another Clash at the Castle or anything like that. But it seems like, Vince was there like, they got a castle, we got to use that. So that's how I think this craziness came about. I know for a fact that like a lot of guys were not built about it, and especially that this wasn't SummerSlam, because it was like 30 years after SummerSlam.
Yeah,
but it's not even fucking SummerSlam. It's not even like the 30-year anniversary of SummerSlam. It's just like, 30 years since you've had a pay-per-view. Well, we'll do SummerSlam first in Nashville. We won't even sell it out. We'll fucking tape up, half the arena, half the stadium, and then because we would have sold out SummerSlam on the name alone.
Oh,
I think
sure.
The ticket sales for this struggled, I believe, because of the name and because of the prices and because of the lack of names announced for it. I mean, originally, we've lost people that are on the poster. I mean, it was weak to begin with no Brock, no Logan Paul, none of the part-timers coming through. And then you get Ronda's not on it. Don't know why she was pulled. And Becky's injured. So, you've got Drew holding this. Drew's on the poster with Roman in the back, with Roman kneeling in front of him. And on the sword, you've got Becky, Ronda, and Seth. And you lost two of those as well. So... I mean,
what are the ticket prices like in American money? What do they come to?
Yeah, they're WrestleMania prices, is what I've been saying.
Shit.
So this is not WrestleMania. They're slightly more expensive than SummerSlam, but then again, actually they're double the price of SummerSlam. Because I didn't get my SummerSlam ticket at face value. I paid a little bit more for it, but I mean, this is a thing that I'm seeing all the time now. I'm seeing these seats that I like to sit in immediately sold out in seconds, and then they're on or not sold out, but all of a sudden they're now called official platinum resale or whatever. So they're on resale instantly. So they've got people on there that allegedly buy them and then immediately give them up. So they're already have an extra $150 on them. So I like to sit, as you know, in that 100 section where we sat basically for the NXT show. Mm-hmm. I like that seat. It's better for Austin. So that should have been $300 base value for SummerSlam, but I ended up paying $450 for it. Here, that same seat is £475. So if you look at the markup on that, that's about $620 for two seats. But then you're looking at the floor seats. I mean, there was packages here, and I feel sorry for any of the people that have got these platinum packages, but they were fucking £7,000, which is $10,000 for these meetings, which had meet and greets attached to them, and yeah, basically sitting on the front row, having the meet and greets, but I don't know who you would have got in the meet and greets, because some people have just not been meetable at all. I mean, Undertaker is not obviously going to be one of them, but this guy has turned into such a dick. He's been a dick now various times when we've seen him about. Roman Reigns, God knows what time he got here today, because he wasn't around all throughout the day or the morning or whatever. I think he snuck in real late, and he'll be snuck out on like a private jet as soon as the show's done. He ain't touching or meeting no fan at all. So who are you going to get? Drew at best, I would say. Maybe Riddle. I know Rollins didn't do it. Yeah, I don't know who was there, but from looking at the people that went out today and what they were wearing, and I'm talking about not the people that went to the gym, that looked like they were reasonably like done up. I mean, Riddle definitely did it. He was dressed up in his actual wrestling stuff. And Bianca Belair, she looked like she did it, and Drew did it. I think that would be my guess. But £10,000 to meet 4 wrestlers and sit front row and be in obviously you get your hotel, you get your front row, and you meet like 4 or 5 wrestlers, and you keep the chair and all that kind of shit, and you get like a merchandise pack or merchandise. Part of that is like a $250 or £250 voucher or something of that nature. I can't remember exactly. I didn't think we were going to delve into this. I would have researched properly what they get, but I remember thinking I would never fucking buy it. So that's where I was at. I got the seat I wanted, and I wasn't even happy when sales were struggling, when they decided to put my seats down to half the price towards the last couple of months, towards the run up to the show. I said to Austin, I was like, our fucking seats are down to £227, which is nearly half of what we paid for them.
No kidding.
So no, it's annoying as fuck. The message it basically sends is to always wait, always wait. And these goofs, these semi-famous wrestling fans like the Brock Lesnar guy and Frank the Clown.
Yeah.
All these dorks, and they're always in the same fucking sign guy, all these dorks that you see in the same seat. They always, every time I've seen them at wrestling shows, they're not in the building at 6:30. They're still outside. So I would never be able to do that because they're coming from a different country, and it would just be too nerve-wracking for me. But they do it. And I think one day when I get past the point of caring, I will try it, because they just wait out. And apparently, from what I've been told by so many people, is that they configure, once they work out the configuration, they release more seats, but they're always like hard cam, or they realize we can squeeze another set of seats down the aisle. So instead of like when for guys that have been like, oh my god, I got an aisle seat, I'm gonna be able to like slap hands with people. It'd be like, no, these fuckers are gonna add one more row all the way down, and it's like sometimes it's like the fucking front row, or like they insert like in, or if it's not the front row, because now they sell or give these seats, it's just another row just behind that. So maybe row 3 or 4 or something like that, where they decide, we can squeeze in some more seats or whatever. So yeah, I mean, these guys just fucking wait it out, and I think it's cheaper too.
So your buddy Sap going over there too?
Sap's not here. Satin's not here. I've been around like WWE Hotel this morning, and I've not seen these people. But I think like some of this stuff we'll talk about on the show in terms of betting picks and whatnot may at least for 1 or 2 matches will relate to being around the hotel. Shall we start with the main event?
Yes, let's go. What do we got?
All right, so we've got Drew McIntyre challenging Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre is the 6-4 underdog, and Roman Reigns is the 8-15 favorite. So US odds, Roman Reigns is close to minus 200 to win 100, and Drew is 100 to win 150.
So I'm assuming Cross is the one costing Drew this match.
You would think from the TV, but from being around a hotel, like I just come out of the hotel and I've just come up from the downstairs part of the hotel, the restaurant, and Drew's there with his whole family having a big meal and everything. It just, I don't know, something about it would seem very weird for him to lose here. Like it's just, obviously it's a long time since British Bulldog won against Bret Hart, and even to the point where this isn't Drew's country. Drew's actually from Scotland, and this is in Wales, which they're trying to just say, oh, British, but there's a lot of like individual like extra merchandise for Drew here. There's sword, there's a T-shirt, like a brand new T-shirt where he's in front of it, and there's like a Wales flag behind, like Unleash the Lion or something like that. So it's a lot of Drew-centric stuff. There's only really one Bloodline shirt on sale. I mean, the guy's been here since Monday doing media. He's talked to everybody. I just don't see how you fucking come back from losing.
I can't. I mean, there's no way he's winning the title. There's not even. There's no way. I mean, is this a Lex Luger situation? They're gonna drop confetti and balloons, and he gets a count out.
I have no idea, but I mean, for you, I can tell it's clear that he doesn't end up back in the path with Roman Rock, and I understand that. But there's a different guy in charge. Roman Rock could be without the title. Like many, I see these marks online. For me, it doesn't really work. It loses a lot of the appeal without the belt. I don't know why, but I think for the belt, it just seems a lot bigger. But you see these marks who can't take a casual perspective and are just like, oh, he doesn't need the belt, The belt could be in this match with Cody beating this guy or whatever, like, how they are. Or we could just do Seth and Cody again, and Seth goes in as a champion. All these terrible ideas that will never fucking sell out, the other night of WrestleMania. That's what they want to do. But for me, it's like, why not just make it fucking absolutely massive where, any casual fans tapping in and saying, oh, that's the WWE title match, or any, fan that all these other fans that say they don't need it, they know that like it'll be bigger if it goes in with the belt on the line. And Roman's gone all that way to WrestleMania with it. And it just looks better in pictures and everything when you're trying to create billboards and whatever and say, this is the main event, this is for the belt, because it just gets weird when that's the main event and something else is for the belt on the other night. But that's just.
Do you think that they can get around this by this match actually starting the show? Because you can't. It's hard to have him lose at the end of the show, Drew. And so, do you put the Riddle Rollins thing last because then you get the fan favorite thing to win?
Well, I don't think it's about what you put on last and sending people home unhappy or happy. I think it's just a case of what I've seen all week is B Sports, who are the channel that air WWE here. What we've seen is a lot of video packages done in terms of Drew, like his story, like they're telling his story and his journey. Like one's called his journey. And if I showed you the stuff that they created, it's like, obviously it's very WWE because we have expectations of that, but it's very much in line with the videos we got when Shawn Michaels was about to win. Right? It's like you watch them and you look at them and go, oh, this guy's coming home to win the belt. It's so obvious from the videos until you obviously engage your brain and say, oh, Roman Reigns is unbeatable. He's done 2 years as champion. And then you look at tonight's on SmackDown and it's going to be like the 2-year anniversary and everything, and they're acknowledging it, and it's like going to be 2 years. And then you think to yourself, like, if really The Rock and Roman doesn't need the belt, and if Roman loses today, or if he wins or loses tomorrow, or if he wins tomorrow and gets to 3 years, historically, is that going to make a big bit of difference? Because you also see these stories where it's like Triple H doesn't want part-timers on there and he wants to split the belts. And do you split the belts and have Roman win one of his belts back because they're stuck with these things being unified or whatever? I don't know. I just know wrestling, like from years and years of watching it. And this is a lot of production and a lot of like merchandise and a lot of things for somebody to fail. And I'm not saying they can't fail. I'm just saying there's no fucking coming back from that. Like, you can't.
If Cross jumps in this, Cross does something. That's why I'm even thinking if Cross does something in the beginning.
Wrestling stuff, though. That's wrestling stuff, though. Like, that's the wrestling finish. How do you get out of it with all of the television companies and the media appearances and everything that he did this week? How do you come out of it with all the promo videos that were released to people that aren't even fans? Like, I mean, some of this stuff's on the BT app. and you got notifications with it. Make sure it's like, watch this Saturday as Britain's Drew McIntyre challenges. Look at his watch Drew McIntyre's journey. Like, it's been popping up on my phone, and I've got I've got notifications on for wrestling. It's just all sports, so it's crazy. It's like you come out of it and everybody be like, oh, did that British guy win? No, he lost. And I know that can happen, and I know that can happen in real sports, and hometown, fights have come to other people's hometowns and they've lost all of the time. And this isn't even his hometown specifically, but he's really going to find it difficult to come back from this failure without, look.
But it's not a failure if somebody else does something to him.
Yeah, but again, he is in the wrestling world. He's not a failure, but in the media, he is. All this big media stuff. This is the thing. Like, you're talking now about specifics in terms of, I don't know. If we look at a technicality on NFL, was it a catch? Wasn't it a catch?
Yeah.
Football fans will understand that. Oh, that wasn't a catch. They shouldn't have won. This kind of thing. But on Monday morning, at the end, when you're reading the Super Bowl result and you just knew the Super Bowl was being played, but you didn't stay up to watch it necessarily, you just want to know who won. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know that one team lost. And in this instance, it'll be like, oh, that our guy failed. So, I don't know. Like, it's very different being here. It almost sways you the wrong. If I was sitting in your country and sitting in your shoes right now, it'd be such an easy pick on Roman. An easy pick. But if you could see what I see, it's very strange. It's very built up for the big homecoming, and it's a big fucking stadium. I understand, like, Roman's through all these people. I understand, like, Edge had a great story, and when he turned babyface and went for Roman, and Brian had a good story, and even Jey Uso had a good story, and someone thought inevitably, like, Brock would win eventually, like when he come back at SummerSlam. And even there was even a figure released to swerve people where Brock had 2 belts on in this toy. But I don't know. This is different, because this is a guy who's pushed before and he's sticking around. And I don't know. It's like, if you're going to come back here and try and do this stadium show again, I don't know if you can have this much of a failure and a disappointment on people. And the other thing I'm surprised about is when I arrived here, we'll talk a lot less about the other matches, but when I arrived here, I was expecting it to be, 50-50, because Roman's so good and Roman's so big. It's not. It's a lot of not idiots. It's a lot of common people from around different parts of the country that are all like, this is our guy, even people from Scotland. Mm-hmm. So it's not that kind of smart markish as much as I thought it would be. Obviously, these people will be there, and there will be support for Roman, but it's like going to be 75-25, I think. I don't think there's no way. It's from talking to the normal person. It's no, like, which I've had to do, because it's crazy, because outside the WWE hotel, there's about 200 people out there. It's nothing like any WrestleMania or anything I've ever been to, or where there's 10, 15 people out there. It's in the hundreds, because
they're hungry. They don't ever get anything there, and most don't travel across.
But I've been stopped, and I've done photos every time I've walked out the hotel all day. All fucking day. And it's been for British wrestling. I listen to you on Keeping It 100. Like, it's been all fucking day. My kid finds it hilarious. Because he's never been old enough for me to have been. He's never
when
been.
You were on TV and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, not old enough, but like, this is like a new sort of like a new thing completely. Like, so he's not used to it at all. He saw it. He saw it. I mean, it's continued on from Nashville, where it happened there as well, because it was the same kind of audience. But I mean, K100 definitely has a bigger reach than I thought. I mean, when I had that incident, like with Cross and Ray and Dominic Mysterio came up to me today and said, "Well, we listened to you and we had lunch together," which is crazy. I was not expecting that to happen this week, but yeah. the show has a bigger reach than I expected. But getting back to my point, yeah, it's hard for me to make a pick here. I don't know if I'll bet this. I think out of just loyalty, I'd probably, or just for fun, I might put like $50 down on Drew as the underdog, just because I really want to see how they get out of that.
See, if they said it's easier to bet for me if they said to win the title, because that I don't have a problem to say easily with Roman, but win, because I'm like, you can get into that DQ bullshit, and there could be some nonsense. That's the part.
But
that
why couldn't they were gonna? Why could they not have got themselves out of this at some point by just saying that this match is for
one of the
title, one of the titles, the one that Drew wants to win back.
But did they said that it is like for the whole Universal Undisputed? Did they go through all that, or have they not said that? So we don't know. And if he does win, he takes one of the belts, and we're like, oh, he didn't have them both on. I like. Can they do that?
Here's an interesting thing that just popped into my head. So there's guys around the hotel that are not on the card. Mm-hmm. Otis, Chad Gable, Street Profits, and most significantly, Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. Now, if Austin tries to cash in, and he gets pinned, right? And Drew's there with 2 belts or whatever, and then Heyman returns on Raw or SmackDown and has lawyers and everything, and they can then give the crowd that pop and then take it away from him, just give Roman his belts back, because they say like, oh, there was no declaration of who was cashing in on what belt and what belt. Nobody knows what belt McIntyre won, and Bank doesn't allow you to. There's ways out. It's like you could.
Or Austin cashes in and they pin, and he gets. Yeah, Austin is the one who gets pinned, right?
This is what I mean. That's what I said. I don't think Austin Theory wins. Turns it into a triple threat match. He gets pinned, and Roman Reigns says that and Paul Heyman says that the Money in the Bank contract states that you only get to cash in on one of the championships of your choice. It never stated that you get to cash in both, and then they vacate one belt. And I mean, this sounds plausible as anything. So plausible, I'm going to go with this as the actual fucking.
You got him on record, ladies and gentlemen. We got this on record.
This is if they haven't thought of this idea, I already feel like I should fucking write it out and slip it under someone's fucking door.
I mean, you're there. You could talk to people, because I have an idea that I need you to tell Riddle when we get to that match, which we should probably move along and get into the other matches.
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay, what's the next one you got?
Oh, let's do that one. Let's do Riddle and Seth. I think in terms of importance, that would be second. And if it wasn't, it certainly is after this week, because they've done a good job.
That was, you know what? I didn't even care until that after commercial promo. It's so easy and so small, and that's what did it for me. It was real life. Mm-hmm.
So you'll find this interesting. Obviously, Austin's my son, so he's got an insight into everything. He's not a normal 11-year-old. Even by 11, it's not real.
Sure.
But he's known for it since he was about 6. He watched it, and then he saw that bit come back, and he looked at me, and he seriously said to me, he goes, "Was that bit real?"
Did you go, got him, Mark?
It got it. You what? What did he say?
Did you go, fucking Mark?
No. I said to him, I don't know. Ask Riddle when we get there.
Yeah, I guarantee Riddle will play it up too in the K5.
Oh yeah, he did.
Now here's the thing I want from this. I
played it up too much, because he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna get him for that tomorrow, bro."
Yeah,
and all this stuff
that's funny. Yeah. That's so funny. It's like Santa Claus came back, right, for a split second. So this is what I need from this match. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bothered by it. And it's very stupid. It's very small. And you'll understand this because you know old school stuff too. If Riddle comes out with his scooter and doing his bro down the aisle and fist bumping and smiling, I'm going to be very, very bothered by this. I need for this to be real, I need Macho Man Jake the Snake, which means I need Rollins on the way to the ring and Riddle flying out of the gates behind him and el-kabonging him and beating the piss out of him before this thing even starts. Because it's not real if he's, doing his nonsense on the way to the ring. That's why I'm like, you need to text him and say, are you able to do this? Or they tell you can't do this kind of thing, because it needs to be that. It needs to be pure, I want to kill somebody stuff. And if he's fist bumping people and on a scooter, even Faust even said, I'll take it if he flies to the ring on the scooter quickly and jumps off of it. Not if he's nonchalantly. And I'm like, I don't even want that damn scooter around. I need him charging him and hitting him from behind as he's walking down the aisle. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I know a while back, Riddle's been pushing to move away from this character.
Yeah.
And even turn heel, to which I don't know if this will come to fruition now, but, Vince told him that, you can't beat a heel in this breakup with Randy Orton. And Riddle's like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Telling this is to Randy. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. To which point Randy said to Vince that he should beat a heel. He can do it. I believe that he can do it. Like, he's convinced me that he can do it. And then obviously Randy got hurt. Mm-hmm. So I feel that that was a big hurdle to overcome. Obviously the man you need Vince isn't there, but I feel like the man who is there now is more convinced that Riddle's a legit tough guy, which he is. Like, apart from Brock Lesnar,
sure,
in a real fight, he beats all these guys up. Yeah. He knows it. So I feel like they should tap into the legitimacy of this and now lose. This is the line is there and it's out there now, and Riddle had the reaction of, I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Don't go backwards now.
No.
It was a really difficult thing to move away from, because when you turn a tough guy into that, it'll always be like, oh, but isn't he like the fucking stoner scooter guy now? It's like, oh no, because they flipped the switch and now we could take him seriously here. Even if he needs to not only do what you said, but he needs to not have it back again and then evolve from here into the next level, because I look at him as a category, not even a category 2, like just borderline category 2. If you look at all the category ones are the part-timers now with Roman and Brock, and if Cena comes in and whatever, and you can barely put any of the other names into that. Maybe Becky, maybe Ronda. But then underneath that, then you're looking at the category 2s, which is your Drew McIntyres, your Edge, Seth Rollins, all these kind of guys. I mean, Edge should be category 1, but he just hasn't had that storyline for the last few months. I think he's like winding down towards doing like more upper mid card stuff. But the point is that this can massively elevate Riddle to the point where, someone like him and Randy Orton are completely equal. It's not a case of, Randy putting him over is a huge win. It is still a huge win, but it's not as crazy as it was 6 months ago if he's serious. Like Riddle going over in the Randy Orton program was a bit far-fetched 6 months ago, but it's not if he's fucking serious. Not the Scooter Joker guy.
What are the odds on this match?
Seth Rollins is the favorite. It's exactly the same odds as the last match. Seth Rollins is the 8-15 favorite, and Riddle is at 6-4. So it's the same odds as Drew and Roman.
I really don't have an idea in this match, because it's, do they want to keep this going? If so, Rollins wins. I really don't know, or if they want to go past it. I don't know how legitimately beat then Riddle, which looks bad because he's the one who's so pissed off and then he loses.
Yeah.
This is a real tough one for me.
How does he lose? Like, how does he get to emotional. Like maybe, I don't know, something basic, like he needs to be pulled off Rollins because he won't release a hold or something.
There has to be, hit in the head with something, with the ref turn, so he's knocked out. That's the only way he's getting straight up pinned. It's got to be completely cheating.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's too he's too aggressive with something, and a ref pulls him off, and then he pushes a ref, and then he gets kicked in the balls or something while the ref
goes back. Yeah,
because he's too aggressive. Like his aggression ends up resulting in him losing. But I don't know. Like I also think that he's a live underdog here. I do feel that you can come away with Riddle winning and still keep it going, because then Rollins could be baiting him more in a sense by saying that win isn't the end of it. Like your win is not the end of it. So I mean, this is far more 50-50 for me than to have a favorite like this at 1-2. Sorry.
Could we even have him do like the Macho and Jake thing? Remember, Jake lost real quick in that match this Tuesday in Texas, right? And then
just like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then Jake killed him afterwards. Slapped Elizabeth around. I mean, it could be he could lose quickly and then end up curb stomping him 10 times afterwards, and just putting his head in chairs and in between the steps, and just really just kill him. And that keeps it going. Then he loses the match. Rollins does, but really wins.
I feel that if you're looking at this card and you're looking at a match that you're going to take time off and go 4 or 5 minutes, I would hate it for it to be this one, because then it means you get a really long women's 6-man. I mean, Sheamus and Gunther are going to be out there chopping each other to bits. I don't mind that much. That'll be good.
Yeah, I really am waiting for that one too. I'm actually excited to see that match.
Yeah, I don't want Liv making a 20-minute title defense or anything like that. So I would like this one to get its full allotted time, and then just have maybe a finish that keeps it going.
Okay. Since you've mentioned Liv, what do we got in that match? Liv versus Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's title.
So Liv is narrowly the strongest favorite we've had so far. She's available at 2-5. And Shayna Baszler at 2-1. So it's plus 200 Shayna Baszler, 100 to win, a 200 profit. And with Liv Morgan, you need to bet 100 just to make $40.
Yeah, and I would go with obviously Liv to win this. They're not done with her and Ronda. So even though we've seen Ronda giving Baszler lessons on what to do in this match, which is odd, because I wonder if they could actually plant that to where Liv wins because of what they were showing, and say, well, you had it online on what you were going to do.
I enjoyed that. I think this business, me and you are veteran fans now, 31 years for me, or nearly 32. So I think when I see something different, where there was a sports element to it, where Ronda was strategizing with Baszler in terms of how you get out of this or how you avoid that or whatever. I think that's good, to put that on your social media. I'd much rather that than fucking Lana being a vapid cunt or other people going on there and just fucking making it obvious that their character's not their character, like fucking Aleister Black when he was, the dark goth that didn't speak, and he was on there talking about mental health with these kids with his wife in the background that no one knew was his wife at the time, or if you're casual and still want to be kayfabed, you wouldn't know they were together. But yeah, I mean, that shit for me is much worse than the stuff Ronda was trying to do. That seemed like semi-intelligent and evolutional, if that's a word. Revolutionary. I think was a better word. I think it showed some a different direction to go in with a business that doesn't seem to evolve or that much. It seems like everything is repeated over and over again. So,
okay. So what about the match that I think we're probably going to be on an agreement with is Mysterio and Edge versus Judgment Day. because of what's been going on with Dominic and Rhea. I mean, Dominic's mesmerized by Rhea. It's his new dominatrix. So
you know what? So yeah, but like the odds are 4-6 on Judgment Day. They're the favorites, and Ray and are 6-5. So if you put $100 down on Judgment Day, you win a £67 profit. If you put $100 down on Ray, you win 120 profit. But I have to say something to you, not on the subject of a storyline, but in real life, like, she is much better looking. Like,
you see her on her Twitters or Instagrams without all the black makeup, and she's good looking without all that. I mean, I'm not thrilled with tattoos, but
even with the way like she conducts herself, or like her like personality, like around the hotel. Like, I was in the gym with her at the same time today, and
she was out benching.
I mean, she didn't do any weight. She did cardio, a couple of cardio things, and she's just something about her. It's not my type, but yeah, she's not like she's on TV. You see her like with the way she is and whatever. But I mean, even if she was like that, still the way she's done up on TV, she still has a presence around the hotel. She genuinely, I think, has a good personality, a star quality, and a good personality in terms of, you know, where some women are just fucking nuts, and you can tell, like, you know, you can tell Sasha Banks is horrible. Yeah, you can tell she's horrible. You can tell that this girl isn't. You can tell that like she's like fun and genuine. To like, there's not that much like bad about her really. Like she's going out there and taking pictures with the people that can't afford to stay in a hotel, like all those hundreds of people, and then she's like coming in and, you know, having real chats and everything. I mean, I looked at some of the stuff she did today. I was like, fucking hell, I would never bother. Like, I would so much be putting in less effort than this. But even like Priest, who was with her, he was eventually like, he walked in. I don't know if they're together or not, but he walked out of her and he was coming back in with her.
She's with Murphy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, he walked in and I walked out and then walked in with her, and she was doing like, you know, so much stuff and talking so much that he was just like, I'm going to go in by myself. I'm not even going to stay with you. And he did a bit, like he did his bit, like even he was like nice. I mean, there's so many people out there that people are just ignoring. I mean, I did stuff with them because I needed to go to my car. Like, I went out there to get something out of my car. But yeah, I mean, she, for the WWE people, like, there's going to be about, you know, 5% of the people that recognize me. It's going to be 100% for them. So she knows that she's doing all 200 fucking photos if she goes outside, but she still went out and did it. But anyway, for this match, yeah, I think it's fucking clear that Dominic needs something. I mean, even Conan was saying that, I'm glad this is happening. He needs a new coat of paint. He needs to be away from his dad. So it's clear that everybody knows this is what's happening. So whether it happens tomorrow or not remains to be seen.
Does he accidentally cause them to lose? Like, oh, it's an accident, but you're like, yeah, and then we'll see him eventually fully.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everything with Triple H's booking seems to be planting seeds and slowing everything down. So he can make a mistake tomorrow, and then he can make a bigger mistake, and it'll be like, you know, one of those things. Oh, who hit Ray with a hammer in the back of the head like this week, and all this kind of shit. So yeah, I mean, I think that would be the way to go.
I think he goes after Edge more so first, because he's jealous that he's like, because remember he pushed him that time and he was pissy, and now Edge is taking his place, so he'll be able to have a thing go against Edge, and then he'll finally be like, F off dad, when it's you know, too much on Edge's side about it, and then fully go after his father too.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. I think we know what's coming. I think Judgment Day win tomorrow, whether it be via mistake or they actually just do the full turn. I would just say just fucking pull the trigger in the fucking stadium. Like, give the stadium a big fucking thing where, yeah, I don't think you need to save this for Raw just to, you know, keep the television going. I mean, we get it. I mean, I think we've seen enough. I just think 6-7 more weeks of teasing us. It doesn't need to be that way. I don't think it needs to be the case. I think you can go into, you know, the NFL season now with this being the storyline and Dominic turning. And you know what? There's from lunch and that with them, there's loads of things they could do. I mean, so without getting too much into it, I think this is fine to talk about. Ray told me a story about how he's very much like he sometimes thinks about how he's just given them everything, how they've never had to work for nothing. He did spoil his kids, but he said that when they got here, now he has to work. Like they tend to the idea.
Wow.
He said he wanted his son to be in NXT in the Performance Center. That was his idea, and they said no, let's bring him straight up. And Ray was like totally against it. And then his wife said when he got the contract, she goes, "Oh, like why is Dominic traveling? How come Dominic's traveling the economy? Like look at his legs are too long for he's traveling with Ray." And Ray's like, "No, this is how it has to be." So I mean, there's things in there where you could go into the storyline and be like, he could be like, "Oh, my dad travels first, and I travel. He made me travel in economy." Or he could even be like things like, "Oh, my dad, yeah, I had everything as a kid. Like I had a great childhood. If you think that a great childhood is my dad sending my mum loads of money to spend on us to take us to places while he's at work, like you know that whole kind of thing."
Yeah,
my dad,
he's not there. Yeah. How dare he work?
Yeah. So there's loads of things that you can do, and this is just from me talking to them for like a few minutes. So I would go down that route and say like, "Oh, I got a real family now that are here for me with these guys."
Yeah, that's
freaking Judgment Day. Yeah, like my fuck, I forgot what it is with them. What the Latin people say with what Damian Priest would be to him. What did the Mexicans say?
What, like a teacher type, that type of thing? In Spanish?
No, like a brother.
Oh, compadre, more like that, I guess.
No, I don't. It's not that, but I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's just it's irrelevant to betting anyway. So
yeah. All right. What's the other one here? What do we? Oh yeah, we got Sheamus and Gunther, which, like I said, is going to be just a let's beat the living piss out of each other. Which
did we finish Liv and Baszler? Right?
We gave the odds for it. Yeah, and I think we both said we're pretty sure that Liv.
Yeah. All right. So Gunther Sheamus is. We keep getting these odds. It's like reoccurring over and over. Gunther's 1-2 and Sheamus is 6-4.
Yeah.
I mean, previously they've been 8-15. So Gunther should be an 8-15 should go against a 6-4, but this line hasn't moved evenly. Sheamus has sat on 6-4, whilst Gunther's moved slightly to 1-2. It's a marginal difference.
Yeah, I would expect. I mean, he's had the belt too recent. You know, Gunther. He's not going to lose this belt. I'm annoyed by the whole, brawler brute people that are with Sheamus. It drives me out of my mind. Especially that whole Butch nonsense. But I would take. I'd take Gunther on this without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a big bit of artwork that's been produced by BT, and it's a painting of Drew and Sheamus, and ultimately, from your predictions, you have them both coming home and failing.
Yeah.
It's interesting if they actually do go down that direction. It's interesting.
It's a tribute to Vince. It's a tribute to Vince. You have to go home and lose.
Yeah, it's interesting because if they both lose, it's interesting they both lost, right?
Yeah.
If either one of them win, you look at it and go, "Oh, Jesus Christ, like he ended Roman's reign," or Jesus, like he beat Gunther and Gunther was being pushed hard as the champion. Obviously, like one is more relevant and surprising than the other without question. But yeah, I mean, I do think the Sheamus thing is intriguing with him being the first ever person to win both the world titles and then to win the US, along with the tags, the Money in the Bank, the Royal Rumble, and the King of the Ring. No one's ever done it. So the Intercontinental title being the only bit that's missing from that is strange. You would have think he would have just picked that up along the way and to be able to say he's won the Ultimate Grand Slam, which is what he's calling it. So, I mean, that could be something that they could give you for the show, and it's easily rematchable. I don't think they will, but yeah, I just think, again, like, a lot of this is down to being here. When you look at that post I've just sent you, it's very odd to be looking at two losers coming home, or two heroes going home as losers.
Yeah,
I think it's about. Yeah,
that is what's interesting. What else is on this pay-per-view? I can't even recall. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I've just got 1 6-woman tag where Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley are the 1 to 3 favorites to beat Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. These are the strongest favorites on this card, and I assume, like, after Monday night where the tag titles went somewhere else and not to those two girls who I thought were definitely going to win, then they have the ammunition to get their heat back here and win the match, with Bayley setting up the future match with Bianca, which really should have been on his pay-per-view. We should have got the tag finals, and we should have got Bianca. This card needed to be stronger, but I think ultimately you set Bayley up for a title shot here. You're better off without that tag match for the titles. You don't want that anyway. Yeah, I agree with you. The bad guys will win this here. I'm still waiting for her to cut that Bianca hair. They'll get to it eventually. Probably, God, I mean, Mania's too far away to go that far with her and Bianca, right? To have this go that long. Yeah. So. Bianca's another one. Like, we saw her today, and Austin had a picture with her and whatnot. Much more attractive in person. Really, she seems like she's down to earth and nice. That's what I get from her. Oh, she's very nice. Yeah, she seems like she'd be cool. It's quite a lot. It's quite a short list of people that are actually dicks, and some people who have been dicks before have not been dicks today. Like Seth Rollins, he's been pretty solid today. A couple of people said to Austin, like, Austin's got to get this school book read before he goes to school. He starts school on Tuesday. Yeah, and carrying it around with him, like trying to, in these little breaks where he has his little wanders around a hotel. When he sits in this table or whatever, I've told him, like, he needs to read the book. And actually, like, both Bayley and Seth have read the book and commented on it and said, "Oh, I read that book. Oh yeah, I'll do the picture." And both of them actually did the same thing. They said, "Oh yeah, you can have a picture because I really like that book." So they both said the same thing. I need you to you gotta say something to Bayley. You gotta say, "Hey, my buddy is from San Jose and he went to your rival wrestling school, APW." See what she says. You get a conversation with her about that, because it was the complete rival that she was in. She was in big time wrestling. I was in all pro wrestling. So they're big fucking feud over there. Roland versus the fuck's his name? Kirk White, who just died. That Roland guy from the documentary. Yeah, that was my guy, Roland. And he's still alive? No, he's dead. He died a few years ago, and her guy died, I think, just last year. So sounds like a dead rivalry. It is. It's a dead rivalry. I don't know. They're both practically out of business now at this point because it's different people running shit, and it's just not what it was. So, is that all we got for this? Yep, that's it. Okay. All right. Where can we get all these betting packages and proper picks, Billy? Yeah, so I'll keep my ear to the ground. I mean, I'm literally within ear's distance at the moment. So all my wrestling and UFC stuff, if you just want that, is at thedirtysheets.com. But if you want all sports, head over to lockbetting.com. I would go to all sports. Soccer is super strong at the moment. And of course, it's always a strong service because we now have 111 months in a row of transparent track profit. If you go to the Twitter account at lockbetting.com, you'll be able to see the pinned tweet from the previous month. Obviously, because I'm away, I have not swapped the month of July for the month of August, but if you still can look at the month of July, you'll get the picture of how things work, type of bets we do, the stakes, the plays, the sports. There's members' comments at the bottom verifying it. And if you go to lockbetting.com, you can have a look at all the months: June, May, April, March, February, January. Why did I name the months backwards? It's hard. So yeah, you do your. I encourage people to do their research and due diligence before signing up, because I've nothing to hide.
So all my nonsense is at Lingus Mafia. That's TikTok, that's Instagram, that is Twitter. Everything's there. And search for podcast Lingus Mafia, patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. We will be back, NFL, next week. It's going to be that time, baby, and you're going to win some big money on that one. Am I right, Billy?
Yeah, let's hope so. Like, let's not jinx it. Like, if we just
yeah.
carry on rolling from last year, then yeah. Well, it sometimes, I mean, with some people, they and oh god, I hope this doesn't happen to us, but some people, you know, need to have a look-see situation, and they do get themselves in that hole early, because the whole thing is like
the first 1-2 weeks.
Yeah, they're so pumped that it's back, and they make too many bets, and they're actually good cappers, but they just get too carried away at the start. We've always made good starts on this show so far, so if we can continue that and start from a strong position, and then as we learn more, it becomes easier. There's going to be a lull. You know, sometimes like you get that whole bullshit, a bad week 7 or a bad week 9 or 10, whatever. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a very profitable show.
And they'll be able to follow my $1,000 Las Vegas bet. So put my money where my mouth is. So you guys will all hear about that.
And we're going to whack you over the head with it. Like I whack you. I'm going to whack you over the head with my lock betting profits, but Cav is a survivor. Cav is a survivor
baby. The summer of '92, I'm a survivor. Yeah, I did the survivor betting all the way.
Not like those girls that put suicide survivors in their in their bio. This is actually important.
Yeah, this matters. Yeah, I did the survivor pool, made it all the way to the end, won the whole damn thing against guys who got 2 chances instead of just 1, and I still survived them all. So we'll do that, and we'll do all our lock picks against the spread coming up. So for Mr. Billy Body, I am Cav Manning. We'll see you next week.